Hey everyone, this is Nitro. So, I'm just gonna head into the Apex Arena section now, and we'll see how these top 8 to top 4 matches go. The one I'm going to be streaming is the Maybz versus Autorun battle, and I'm actually going to put all my tickets into Autorun. So let's max out all my 6 tickets into Autorun. It's a bit of a gamble, right? It could really kind of go either way. It could go to Maybz or Autorun, but I feel like the odds are amazing, right? Because Autorun doesn't have that many people betting on him. So I suspect the reason why not too many people are betting on Autorun is because they don't know who he is, right? This account is run by the Chinese, I guess, Hall of Fame player, if you will, KlunKi, also known as God K, as Sweet Dango refers to him. So given that, you know, he is one of the top players on the Chinese server, I think he'll do fine in this match. You know, you can say it's 50-50, right? But it's definitely worth the gamble. Alright, so that's why I'm betting on Autorun. And this is the match that I'm going to be streaming as well. So let's see how that goes. Interesting note that I want to mention, I found out from Decisive yesterday when I was talking to him that he actually has 6 Swordsmith medals. So he has 0 bracers and 6 Swordsmith medals. So he just got very lucky with the RNG in getting 6 of these. Yeah, that's why he has one on Listel, one on Bozel, one on Juggler, right? I heard the other ones are on, I think, like Sophia, Licorice. I don't know where the last one is. But you know, RNG being what it is, he certainly benefit from it, and it's certainly helping him do very well in the Apex Arena playoffs. It's actually kind of funny because he runs the box that I want to run, but he has so many more swordsmiths than me that it really helps him. So, we have, I guess, 2 minutes till the next battle, or a minute now, till I can jump into the fight, and then we'll see how it goes. Now, this should be a very interesting match overall, I think. You know, Roylee has played very well in Apex season after season until he quit and he just returned, right? But I really do think KlunKi is more likely to win. KlunKi seems to be play more of Apex than Roylee does. So, but with that said, of course, Roylee did make it to the top 8. So despite having taken a break, he's not really making that many mistakes anyways. Yeah, I mean, I have 3 as well. I'm hoping to get like 8 swordsmiths, that is. But yeah. The more swordsmiths you have, the more people can be immune to silencing and fixed damage, which is of great use. There are characters who can work without it, but it's just, you know, it's nice to have for a lot of them. Alright, so it looks like the battle should be beginning shortly, right? I'm not seeing the button to join in. Why is that? Let's try jumping back in. There it is. So there we go. Match begins in a minute. So let's see how this goes. Yeah, I mean, it's not as amazing as, you know, getting... it basically increases both your survivability as well as giving you the immunity to silencing. Of course, you suffer from a lack of additional attack or int, but it's still okay. KlunKi of the Chinese server. You know the video that I did about, you know, the Nitro Reacts video on the top 4 players on the Chinese server. KlunKi is one of them. When they did those exhibition matches for the anniversary. Alright, so let's see. Autorun or KlunKi is running pretty much my box, to be perfectly honest. Okay, this is literally the box I run. The only difference is he has Rene in the box and I don't. Because I don't have Rene at 6 stars. Maybz is actually running... Yeah, sorry. So Autorun has Rene instead of Gizarof, right? Or so no, he does have Gizarof. I'm not even sure who I have over Rene. In any case though, Maybz has Rachel that I don't really have built. Ah, I see. I have Deedlit in my box. He has Rene. And then Maybz is running more of a hybrid box, right? There's Rachel here for Gospel and for single target striking. There's Deedlit for Gospel and single target striking as well. There's Liana for Gospel and single target striking. So there are 3 Gospel heroes in Maybz's box. I'm going to turn off the banter. Yeah, I actually really like Autorun's box, you know? And it shows that I really should have gotten further in the playoffs this season. Well, you know what? I'll do a review video of the big mistakes I made in my game later. But yeah, it just shows, you know, the AoE meta box is fairly dominant right now for this season. And that if I didn't mess up the way I did, I could have gotten very far with it. Anyways, so an early Ares for Autorun. And by comparison, Maybz or Roylee is not playing tanks at all. So he went Reen and then Gizarof. This is interesting. So no tanks strategy for Maybz, which means the question now is Ares going to be a single target striker rather than an AoE attacker? Right. This is why I guess KlunKi is taking some time to think now. I would... Who would Autorun ban at this point? You know, probably Bozel and Arianrod would be my thoughts. Oh, he didn't ban Arianrod. Interesting. Bozel for sure, and he banned Liana. That's different. And then he played Gizarof. That's an interesting pick. Why Gizarof? Huh. Not sure I understand that, especially since now he lost Wilder, the Dispel Wilder, as well as Licorice. So Sophia is left. Yeah, I'm not sure I understood that Gizarof pick there. Anyways, so Licorice and Wilder are now both banned, right? So Maybz has no healer. Well, I guess there's still Rachel and Deedlit, but no... I guess no good healers? I don't know how to explain this. Right? There's no Liana, there's no Licorice, there's no Wilder. There's a combat healer in Rachel, but as long as Rachel is prevented from attacking, there would be no real healing. Of course, Reen can kind of self-heal. Zerda can self-heal, especially if Zerda has her exclusive helmet. So that could be interesting. So what's going to happen now? Rene for the long-range AoEs, right? And debuffs and whatnot. That's a great selection, I feel. And now wow, both Bozel and Listel can be picked at the end. A 5th pick Bozel, that's surprising. But Autorun doesn't have a healer either now. Very interesting. Autorun chose not to play Sophia at all. I mean, Sophia is not a great healer in this kind of situation, but now maybe he's got a 5th pick Ares. So the lack of a healer for Autorun could be very fatal now. Right? This Ares launching out a big Wind Whisper AoE could really rip apart Autorun's party. And there's no way to recover from that, unless Listel is bringing a healing skill. That might be what he's aiming for. The Listel to provide healing. And damage. Huh. But the faction buffs are... Let's see. Landius would faction buff up Listel and Rene. Gizarof, I guess, won't bring a faction buff here. I'm not sure if he will. This could be interesting to see. I just don't agree. I don't know. Given the choice between Gizarof and Bozel, I would probably have picked Bozel instead. So that was a bit of a surprise, that 3rd pick Gizarof. Everything else made quite a bit of sense, right? If Listel is the one providing healing and so on, but oh, Rain is going to be nasty, I think. No, I'm assuming Autorun has a Swordsmith Bozel, but I don't know. Let's see how this goes. Just that, allowing that 5th pick Ares. I don't know, this looks actually kind of grim for Autorun. That's my impression right now. I think Autorun is at a disadvantage. I could be wrong, but that 5th pick Ares is just rough. Let's see. Okay, Leviathan Gizarof. Bringing a faction buff. Ultimate Construct and Summon Construct. Alright, fair enough. Ares is single target, as you might expected, for Autorun. Rene is the Calamity Throw and Pattern Matter. Okay. 3rd skill of Fireball. Fireball to counter Reen, perhaps? Yeah, most likely. Reen and Deedlit, right? Infantry class characters. Landius, whatever, right? Peace of Mind, does nothing changes, nothing unique about Landius. Listel is bringing a self-heal, right? Demon God's Bulwark. After taking action, if this unit has dealt damage this turn, this skill restores 30% of the unit's max hit points. But she's not bringing the heal allies effect. Huh. Okay. So actually, Maybz currently has more healing than Autorun does. Right? At least Deedlit has Sea of Miracles. This is a pure support Deedlit, not bringing any attack skills at all. Wow. Another thing I didn't really expect. Accelerated Aid, Sea of Miracles, and Gospel? Now, so maybe he's activated the Ogre state right away. Oh, this is... yeah, I don't know. I really think the pick ban has really favored Maybz right now. As I said, he just has a better combo in terms of characters and everything. And at least he has some healing effect. I think the Gizarof construct summon and then you know, ultimate construct to make Reen's spiritual unification last around 5 turns and so on. It's gonna be pretty rough for Autorun to deal with. As is the Ares Wind Whisper. So, Let's see how this plays out. Accelerated aid applies onto Reen. So now Reen has the 5 mobility. Yep. You can move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to here, then target 1, 2, 3 range. Interesting. Nine movements on 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It can't target this. It can actually target Rene, but Autorun moves first. So Rene can move out of the way. And then let's see. Ares can move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then 1, 2, 3, 4. So Ares is not in range to attack at this point. Yeah, so I mean, the Rene retreat makes sense, right? Needed to avoid Zerda. Best heroes for each faction. I just I would have absolutely no idea how to build a video like that. There's just too many factors going into something like that. Things like whether you consider PvP versus PvE. Yeah, there's. As I said, I honestly have no idea how I would put together a video about something like that. Okay, that's interesting. He moved Landius up 1 tile. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then target the AoE, right? 1, 2, 3s, and then Landius can get hits, and then Termination Slash has a 4 block range. So 1, 2, 3, 4, potentially 5 block range if it has the Balanced Blade. So putting Landius in range like this means that 1, 2, 3, 4. The Stell could get hits. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I see. So Rene and Gizarof would be out of range, but Listel and the Construct would be in range of Reen at this point. It's an interesting move. Yeah. And the fact that you don't necessarily have to play a single faction anyways, right? For example, I use Leon as my main physical DPS, you know? And yet I use Ledin as my tank, you know? But now I use Landius as my tank very often, and I bring Luna as my faction buffer and Tieris, you know? So, like, you generally mix and match. Like, your healers would generally be Tieris and Liena as an example, and then it's just, yeah. As I said, I would not know how to go about putting together a video about each individual faction, ultimately. I mean, there's great heroes you can use, like, you know, Listel for fixed damage, like Rene for insane magic attack, with Rene Annihilation for PvE. You know, but in terms of going for individual factions, there's not really a good answer, I feel. Anyways, let's focus back on this battle. So with regards to this battle, Maybz had temporarily set up to protect Zerida, I think. Zerida currently, the only character you can attack would be Langrisser. And it looks like... Oh. Let's see. So Deedlit moved up to give a mobility buff to the construct, then moved back to give Reen a mobility buff. So we now see a 4 movement construct, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, and then a Reen with 5 movement. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, that doesn't give any additional targets for Reen. Unless he moves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. Even if he arc slashes, I don't think he can really hit anyone. Autorun getting to move first with his Ares. There we go. Yep. The Ares assault. And the Ares noble charge strike. So Ares is wiped out without getting to do anything. And the 2 block teleportation damage. And now what? Retreat back a bit. So Ares for Ares is what that was. I mean, it got rid of that AoE strike, so that's a pretty significant... that would be a pretty significant action. I'm guessing... Zerida will probably kill off Ares here. Right? This is very, very interesting now. Because Autorun got to go first, that might have been all the difference in this fight. Suddenly, Maybz losing that Ares and not having the ability to use that AoE can be very much a fatal action in this battle already. Yeah. That first turn advantage for Autorun may have just been all the difference for this fight. Right there. So, looks like I was wrong. Yeah, I mean, Ares dies to Zerida, but whatever, right? Oh, interesting. Landius aggression to wipe out the construct. Reen, I mean, you can basically say Reen is not going to get out of Ogre state, right? There's definitely going to be someone else that dies, so... Interesting. Very, very interesting now. So that got rid of the other AoE, right? Gizarof can't use Ultimate Construct at this point. And Reen being Cavalry... should do fine against a Deedlit with an attack skill. Or Reen without... who doesn't have a single target strike skill either. That was a very interesting action, I have to say. But... keep in mind that Maybz is acting first next turn. So Gizarof could launch that attack on Landius? I don't know. Let's see how this goes. Huh. That Landius aggression strike was... I found that to be the most interesting action right now. What would I do if I was Maybz here? probably have Rin melee attack this Landius. Probably. And then next turn have Gizarof strike Landius, perhaps? Right? After all, Maybz does have Sea of Miracles to use. That can heal up characters. Yeah, the sword units won't be too much of a threat to Landius. Although Gizarof with a ranged attack should be able to kill off Landius. Yeah, so there we go. Yep, what I expected. The melee attack from Rin. Right? And then I'm guessing a range attack from Gizarof into Landius this way. Listel moves up because of Reaper's Touch, I feel, right? She can Reaper's Touch someone to turn, let's say, you know, for example, Rin self-heals, right? If he's Reaper's Touch, his self-healing when he uses his skill would turn to damage, maybe. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, Sea of Miracles, heal everybody. And then the attack takes down the first life of Landius. I liked that action. Okay, I'm not sure I liked Autorun hanging that far back afterwards. Right? Like when I really liked him having Landius move up. What I didn't like was not choosing to move up the construct after that. But I guess if he moved up the construct, you know, Deedlit could have killed the construct. So that's probably why he kept it back. At least now the construct can move up 3, let's say, get all the ultimate constructed and then move up 3 more. But that's not enough to attack anyone. Now that was an action I didn't understand. Why didn't the Autorun move Landius back just now and instead end the turn in the frontier? Right? He could have ran him back, like to here or to up here or something. Oh well. Oh, heal block on Rin. And Sea of Miracles has been used up, so heal block is going to be permanent for the next 2 turns. Heal block on Gizarof too. Actually, a lot of debuff on Gizarof. Bloodthirster Zerida. Yeah, I actually did not understand that action with Landius. But, Oh, that's a bit of a waste. Reaper's Touch on Rin when Rin has heal block won't do much. And the Rin AoE did have 5 range, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. So it's a balanced blade. Rin as expected. Right. Move forward. Ultimate construct. Oh, 2 range on the ultimate construct now. So who will the ultimate construct attack? Zerida is going to assassinate another character. Yeah, I disagree with this attack from this position. He should have moved the ultimate construct attack from up here. Right? Because then he could have done some damage to the Deedlit as well. Let's see, what's next? Assassination. Zerda. Yeah. Autorun's in serious trouble right now. Okay. Green is killed. Not sure I agree with that. I probably would have had Listel move up and Blood Dance. Right? At least that's what I would have done. I would have moved Listel up into the middle and Blood Danced all 3 enemies. Oh, uh-oh, self-destruct is gonna kill Listia. What to do? Kill the construct. 2 range attack, I think, from the ultimate construct to kill this construct, perhaps? Right, get out of range of Gizarof, probably. Or do you kill... Yeah, I don't think you want to face the ultimate construct, right? So... Oh! It lived! RIP. So it gets the ultimate construct. 387 hit points. But it lived. So... Ultimate construct. Gets more buffs. Yeah, now I think he's basically screwed. If this construct died, would have been different. So this is, oh boy, cannot be healed. Heal block on the construct too now. Blood Dance now, but... Wah, wah. Little bit lacking in almost everything, it looks like. Oh, that was interesting. So the Listel guard let Listel kill off the construct now. So that actually kind of worked out for him, didn't it? I mean, Zerda's gonna move in and attack and probably kill off this construct. Listel should be fine against... Oh, this is a 2-range construct! Oh, that's not good at all for Autorun. If it was one range, he would be in a much better position. But that 2-range construct may be trouble now. That might actually... Let's see what happens. But I think that 2-range on the construct may be a serious issue for him. Wow. Talk about a close fight though. I think literally this was determined by the fact that he got 2 range on the construct. But yeah, pretty close fight. I actually think what really screwed Autorun though was moving that Landius. When he moved that Landius, he gave the first turn advantage away. Right? If he didn't move Landius at all and moved his back characters, Landius would have been killed before acting, and Autorun would have kept the first turn advantage. So I think by giving away that first turn advantage, Autorun screwed himself. Big time. He started really strong, but by moving that Landius on the spot, I really think that was what lost Autorun that battle. Everything else was mostly right, but yeah. And also, as I said, not choosing the Blood Dance with Listel first, right? I think that was another big mistake. But anyways. Oh wait, no. I understand. Sorry. For that second one, he's right. Reen has Swordsmith Metal. So with Swordsmith Metal, Blood Dance is basically useless against Reen. So he wanted to kill Reen, and thus he had to have Gizarof in the construct attack Reen. But yeah, it is what it is. Going first is determined randomly for the first match. After the first match, the person who lost gets to decide whether he goes first or second. So... this time around, Autorun banned Reen first. I think it's very interesting. Maybz is now running, only Juggler, so he's running a no-tank strategy. And Autorun got to play Juggler first. Oh, on a turn by turn, you go first if you're not the last person to act the previous turn. Ragnar. So if you acted last on the previous turn, then you go second. Yeah, I understood what you were asking. Alright, so both sides are playing a mythical box basically. Juggler for Autorun. Both got Hobo in. Maybe's got Ariane Rod in right away. This is certainly interesting though. I never really thought of running a no tank box for an AoE team. But let's see if Maybz can get this to work. So Maybz got 3 mythical characters in now, right? Yusuke, Arianrod, and Hobo. That's actually looking pretty grim for Autorun. If Arianrod dispels the guard of Juggler, yeah, I think Maybz or Roylee has this. Looking at it right now. I don't like what Autorun is left with. That is, I think Arianrod followed by a Yusuke attack will finish off Juggler. Oh, interesting. Sophia then Waller. That's certainly interesting. Actually a bit surprising to me, playing Sophia followed by Waller. Like, I would have considered playing Landius rather than, you know, Landius with Waller. That is, after Gizarof, I probably would have picked Landius, and then for the last one, maybe pick Waller? I don't know. Or I would have probably locked in Waller, and then chosen the last hero after that. Well, we'll see. Sophia does offer some possibilities, like Autorun no longer has to bring a faction buff on his Landius, on his Hobo, I should say, and that's exactly what he did. Wave Whisper and Light Array. So, not bringing the faction buff, Sophia will basically provide a faction buff by casting Mass Heal every other turn, and thus he can bring more. Oh no, he brought Swan Song on Gizarof. Interesting. I would have rotated the Swan Song for another skill, personally speaking. But each to their own, I guess. And then yeah, Sage of the Trees has the Divine has his faction buff. To buff up Yusuke and Arianrod. Rachel is bringing Gospel to buff herself. Right, so this Rachel should be a 3-range single target strike Rachel. With Holy Word and Dark Reaper. And then Licorice is bringing the Mass Heal and Dark Despair and Demonic Event. I can't say Swan Song is a bad choice. It's an interesting one though. I guess ultimately you don't really need Dark Dragon's Breath, right? When they have Mass Heal and Rachel for healing. So maybe bringing the Swan Song was a acceptable choice. That's fair too, yes. Gizarof's faction buff, the Swan Song, does reduce cooldown, assuming you kill an enemy. So, right, if you kill an enemy, all skills cooldown is reduced by 1. When you die, all skill cooldown is reduced by 1. But I don't know. My thought was he already has Rewind, so... Well, let's see how it goes. Who got the mobility buff just now? I heard a mobility buff sound. Rachel did. Plus 3 mobility. Whew! So now Rachel can right away move into attack at 3 range. Is he gonna go for it? I think he... Wow, there's also a mobility buff on Ariane Rod. Seriously? Both of them? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, but the positioning of Ariane Rod was off. So that Ariane Rod can't actually... Well, I guess Ariane Rod can move it in Grand Cross. This is going to be an interesting fight. Autorun is holding back. Ariane Rod is getting stacks of mobility increases. So there was a mobility buff on the Construct, a mobility buff on Gizarof himself, I think what he really wanted was the mobility buff on Juggler though. Like if Juggler got a mobility buff, he could have charged forward and teleported right into the middle of all these characters or something. I don't know. What skills? Interesting. Wowler is bringing defense support for immunity healing negation, I suppose, instead of dispel. That's a new combo for me. I never really thought of using defense support L instead of dispel, but that could be interesting to see. And high stakes is going to be very difficult to use in this kind of battle because of Ariane Rod and Licorice. Because you'd have to high stakes, then heal up with Sophia to keep Wowler alive. But when you high stakes, your opponent gets to act and maybe launch out that AoE to kill Wowler. So yeah, I'm a bit surprised with this skill combo for God K. I do think Maybz overall is an advantage. Oh! Oh, wow! Wow, 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 wow! Really? Really? Okay, I... Talk about getting incredibly lucky though. Seriously. He had to get the mobility buff on the ultimate construct to move in like that. He had to have 2 range to attack Yusuke and survive. Then he had to get deterring components to do damage after combat. That was insane luck to be able to kill off that Yusuke. No, it wasn't just the mobility buff. It was the fact that he also got deterring components to finish off Yusuke. If he didn't get deterring components for that last buff, Yusuke would have lived. That was honestly ridiculous. I mean, to be fair, this Gizarof is not the best enchanted Gizarof. Gizarof can have a lot more than 1400 int. Okay. So he did need luck because this Gizarof doesn't have enough int, but still. If he, to be fair, if this Gizarof was better built, better enchanted, then he wouldn't have needed that much luck. Okay, he would not have needed the deterring components, but the 2 range buff and the mobility buff made that possible. That changes things big time. Like, Arianrod got an act again, it looks like. So. Shield break. And then Juggler, I'm guessing, Sacred Beast him. Right. Prevent Arianrod from escaping. And then finish her off. Well, the only question is whether he Sacred Beast him or just Beast Shocks, to be fair. But I would say Sacred Beast him. Oh, he Beast Shocked instead. Alright. Oh, Sturmlands! Okay, Sturmlands to escape. I didn't expect that at all. I guess that gives the opportunity to what would I do if I was Autorun at this point? Play it safe. Probably. I probably wouldn't have done that, but I would play it safe. He has absolutely no need to push in. Arianrod is mostly out of the fight for a while now, right? No, he's... I mean, Grand Cross is down, but she could still use Total Destruction a bit. But, if Arianrod gets to recharge Grand Cross, it means Arianrod could do that again, right? 2 AoEs to maybe crush Hobo permanently. Going back a little bit, so Autorun actually made the right choice in using Beast Shock, right? Because if he had used Sacred Beast him, it would have been wasted at that point. Although, actually, maybe not. I'm just thinking, if Autorun had used Sacred Beast him to here, right? Arianrod at best could have Stormlanced back to here, and then Juggler could have moved forward and killed Arianrod that way, right? With Beast Shock afterwards. And if Arianrod, let's say, Stormlanced north to 5,000 up, then Sophia and Wilder could have attacked this Arianrod and finished her off. So actually, looking at it again, that was a mistake on KlunKi's action. He should have Beast Shocked forward. At least that's my opinion. I really think he should have Beast Shocked, or I really think he should have Sacred Beast him against Arianrod to over here. Then that would have totally trapped Arianrod for a kill. As it is, Arianrod gets to escape. Yeah, he could have taken out Arianrod very easily with Sophia and Wilder ranged attacks, but because of not using Sacred Beast him, Arianrod gets to live. So that was a big mistake on KlunKi's side. Wilder? I mean, Wilder is about activating high stakes, if you can. Well, Wilder is actually very difficult to use. He has so many different skill combos that, and they're all effective, right? You can bring Mass Heal, Dispel, Regroup. You can bring, what he's bringing, high stakes, Regroup, Defense Support. There's tons of skill combos you can run on Wilder, and yeah. Well, let's see how this plays out, what remains of this fight. I mean, at the very least, saving the Sacred Beast him... I don't know. I really feel he should have used it. And I really... Because that, as I said, that would have eliminated Arianrod and made it a 5v3. As it is, Maybz still has a chance to come back. As an interesting note, Maybz is not healing Ariane Rod, so that Ariane Rod can continue to trigger her act again effect. Right? By having it trigger every so often, she can quickly refresh the cooldown on Grand Cross. And it also gives her Ariane Rod the opportunity to maybe move in, let's say, 8 or 9 tiles, launch out double AoEs and win. So, oh, leaving this Ariane Rod alive, I really think that may cost KlunKi this match. If he had killed Ariane Rod, it was game over, guaranteed. But leaving it alive, I mean, to be fair, that's a pretty hard thing to catch, right? Yeah. Actually, I do occasionally respond to chat, but a lot of the comments, there's not much for me to say. I am checking chat for the record. Oh boy, this is interesting though. So the map is getting smaller. Autorun has to be very worried about Ariane Rod double AoEs. Oh, there's another Wave Whisper. And Autorun responded with his own Wave Whisper to replace some of the terrain. It also did some damage to the enemy stage of the trees, but I mean, none of the characters are vulnerable to this dazzling light effect. That's the thing. It only affects flyers and cavalry. And there are... Oh, I suppose... Oh. Rachel is a flyer. So actually, Rachel is getting affected. I take that back. Because Rachel's bringing Sorceress. Huh. Congrats, McKaiser. Ariane Rod is ready to do a double action. Okay. So Ariane Rod can jump in, Grand Cross, and then Total Destruction and kill off Sage of the Trees, for example. And because Juggler was knocked back, Juggler can't move close enough to lock down Ariane Rod's movement. Actually, he can, if he jumps in. If he jumps and changes Ariane Rod's mobility type to water, then Ariane Rod can't move very far, even with 6 mobility. Demonic Advance, Dark Despair, Terrain Effects, what's gonna happen? Is... Oh, Juggler got affected by cannot be healed! Wow, wow, wow. Of all the debuffs, and he didn't choose to remove it either. There's the Sacred Beast, him. There's the... and an attack with the construct. Okay. Stormlance. Act again. Grand Cross. Even with the terrain change, Stormlance still let him take out Sage of the Trees. Ooh. So yep, it looks like leaving Ariana alive was fatal for KlunKi. I could always be wrong though. We'll see. It's not guaranteed yet that KlunKi loses this fight, even if Sage of the Tree dies. So let's see what happens. There's the Grand Cross. There's the dead Sage of the Trees. Oh, and Wilder died too. Oh. And Juggler does not get the Wilder buff because of where he teleported. If Juggler was here, he would have gotten that buff. What? That was another big mistake. Why? You should have attacked. Oh. Well, I guess he did that to get this AoE on all three characters. But I would have thought you would attack Ariane Rod there. Well, this is certainly interesting, I guess. Yeah, like if it was me, I would have attacked Ariane Rod probably. Oh no, it had one range. Never mind. That was probably the right action. Because you can't attack Ariane Rod and expect to survive at one range. So yeah, attacking, yeah, that attack made sense. Then you could hit all three enemies with the AoE, and then single target this Rachel. And once again, it looks like the if this construct had more damage, alright, that works too. Single to target down Rachel that way. What would I do with Sophia here? Probably, yeah. Probably range attack. I agree with that. Because then you can move a little bit more. It's too bad about not killing Rachel though. If Rachel had died, the Beast Shot could have probably locked down Sage of the Trees, for example, and gotten him killed. As it is, it's still very, very close. Yeah, I think this is definitely the best game of this, of what remains here. Oh! Juggler! No, Juggler cannot kill Ariane Rod. Sophia, range attack. Mobility debuff on Sage of the Trees. It is stuck in poison. That was brilliant. First life killed on Sage of the Trees. And Sophia barely managed to survive that one. Wow. Okay, that's not what I expected. Dropping the construct there. Gizarof move up, attack, and finish. Yep. Wow. Yeah, this was ridiculous. Yeah. I do think Autorun should have used Sacred Beast him earlier, but he still won. So a win is a win. It got closer than it needed to be, but as I said, a win is a win. Man, that was really crazy. That was a really, really crazy fight. And now it's the Cape of Sorrow, the juggler-friendly map. I actually thought Roylee could have come back from that by making use of Ariane Rod. Didn't quite happen, but that was close. And it's back to Landia's tank for Autorun. That last fight was very interesting though. Like, ultimately, Sophia didn't do much. That last battle. What did Sophia do? She never even used Rewind, I don't think. All she did was kind of mass heal and maybe attack once with the Goddess left hand. Interesting. Autorun switched in Yusuke, and Yusuke got banned right away. Yusuke and Hiei. Okay, that was interesting. Reen does not have a faction buff right now. I'm surprised he allowed Reen to be picked, but now Reen doesn't have a faction buff. I mean, he can work without one. He can easily get Gospel from Liana, Deedlit, or Rachel and still function. Yeah, Bryson. I'm gonna be honest, I'd make mistakes way earlier than these two guys, for sure. Hiei's second pick. KlunKi is going for a quick finish. Huh. Let's see how this goes. Yeah, I mean, Roylee is sticking to that no tank strategy. Very interesting. I've never played a no tank strategy ever, so I would not be able to do anything that Roylee is doing right now. But yeah, I will say Autorun pulled off that second match to incredible luck, but being able to take advantage of that luck is also a skill, right? That Gizarof construct assault. Wow, 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 wow. Anyways, I'm very, very interested in seeing what this CA will do for Autorun. I mean, it will counter Zerida, I guess. Oh, that's the other thing. Hiei can run Leviathans. So Hiei can move through the water without any issue. So that's another good reason to run Hiei. But I'm not sure Hiei can kill either Listel or Ring. So Sophia, fourth pick. He really likes the rewind, I suppose. This could be interesting. If Landius chooses not to bring a faction buff and instead brings route, that could be a big advantage for Autorun. Ooh, Bozo. Bozo's sleep is going to be difficult to deal with. Gizarof, yet again. Last pick Gizarof. Okay. Yeah, I can see this working out. Autorun is running a team that I would run, frankly speaking. I'm just really surprised Autorun is not afraid of Reen and Ares, right? Like, all the characters Maybz is playing are characters I'm personally terrified of ever facing. Reen, Bozo, Ares, Listel, Zerida? Like, these are characters I always banned. Maybz is Lemon's account. Lemon quit the game a long time ago. So, like, every season someone has... There's been a different driver for the Maybz account. Eddie, we might see some Albedos. Albedo does see some use as a tank for PvP. Shaltir is a pure PvE character. You're welcome, Pawn. The other thing about all this is, I have a suspicion Ares' Wind Whisper can kill Hiei. I'm not sure about that. It does depend on the enchants on Hiei, but Ares usually does so much damage via, you know, the AoEs and fixed damage that he should be able to kill Hiei. Should. Yeah. But honestly, I've been very impressed by this strategy that Roylee is running. This no tank, you know. Look at this account. Echoes of Light Skin on Listel, Echoes of Light Skin on Zerda, Echoes of Light Skin on Reen, Echoes of Light Skin on Ares. I mean, Bozo doesn't have an Echoes of Light, so he's not running an Echoes of Light, so instead he has a Macho Lotto skin. So, both Hiei and Gizarof both have the Leviathans, as expected. Ah, I actually didn't consider that. Right. Sage of the Trees, by putting down Dazzling Light, it can completely stop Ares' mobility. So actually, Ares might not be able to get in properly to AoE Hiei. Mass resist for the immunity to stun on Sophia. Right? So that's protection against Bozo's sleep. And that's why Bozo didn't even bring... Whoa! Bozo didn't even bring the sleep skill. So Bozo has a faction buff for both Listel and Zerda. But Zerda is still running Meteor. I'm just wondering, is Meteor's 10% damage increase that important? Wait, Shadow Raid Meteor? Sorry, Shadow Raid Zerda? The only character Shadow Raid Zerda can kill is probably Hiei. Oh, and actually it could kill Sophia. Oh, that's probably why, I guess. So Shadow Raid Zerda can kill both Hiei and Sophia, because there is no Sword Swift on Sophia. Right? Hiei being an assassin, vulnerable to the backstab. So okay. It's not like Zerda could have assassinated Sage of the Trees anyways, right? Due to the revive. And Gizarof... yeah, whatever. Alright, so I guess the Shadow Raid Zerda does kind of make sense. Listel here is also Blood Dance, also the Demon God's Bulwark, and Reaper's Touch. Bringing Skeleton Knights. Oh. Wave Whisper right away. Throwing down more terrain effects. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Doesn't that mean Ares can get in? It's just 2 + 1 mobility. Oh no, yeah, it's just +1 mobility, right? Flyers and cavalry moving through these tiles takes 2 mobility rather than 1. So Ares, if I'm counting this right, Ares should be able to move here and Wind Whisper. Hiei. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. The only question is, will Wind Whisper actually kill Hiei? I think it does, but we'll see. Huh. Egg 10 and Will is 1-1? That's actually a bit of a surprise to me. I honestly expected Egg 10 to easily dominate that match. So, Will underscore putting up a good fight, it sounds like. 681 defense CA against and Ares that probably has around, 1800 attack. Let's see what happens. These are some really, really high stat characters though, for Maybz. Not like, this Rin has no faction buff in the 786 defense. Bryson, that's why I counted it. Yeah, look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right? Ares gets 9 mobility when he activates Fearless Hurricane. So he should be able to move in for that AoE. Unless I'm completely miscounting somehow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, yeah. Of course, it could be just it could be that he does not die to it. But from my count, he should. And yeah, so Maybz is running an all self-heal team. Someone mentioned that earlier, right? It is all characters that can self-heal. Oh, I spoke too soon. Zerda doesn't have her exclusive. And Zerda did not. And Zerda lost her meteor faction buff effect too. AoE, apply some debuffs, get some damage in. And Zerda does not have her faction buff, once again. So, of all the buffs that Sage of the Trees could remove, he removed the best one from Zerda. And that was because Sage of the Trees is running Vidar's Rose, right? I mean, Bozol is the one who can't self-heal perfectly, but the Crystal Warlock self-heal. Right? His own personal hit points, Bozol won't heal up. But the Crystal Warlocks do. Listel has the Demon God's Bulwark for self-healing. Ares has the Fearless Hurricane. Rin just talent self-heal. Zerda is the one that's currently stuck because he just got really bad luck. Of all the buff effects that could be removed by Vidar's Rose, right? There were like 5 of them. He lost the one that really mattered for self-healing. Autorun using Rewind right away. So that refreshes Sage of the Tree skills, and it'll refresh the Construct Summon as well. So now Autorun can resummon a new construct and probably launch out yet another assault right away. Side note, the reason why Listel is running Skeleton Knights, I believe it's to avoid being the flyer class soldiers, right? To prevent from having movement issues through this. Dispelling more buffs with Vidar's Rose. Yeah. Well, Autorun is showing why you would run Vidar's Rose instead of Holy Ring. I should probably consider switching my Sage of the Trees to that after looking at this fight. Dragon of Darkness Flame. Move in. Whoa! 2-tile movement from the Dazzling Light because he's aquatic due to the Leviathans. And now he gets his attack off. If I were Autorun, who would I kill? Ares. Boom. And he maintains to act again first. Autorun is going to act first the following turn because Zerda was left alive. Wow. So now he gets off 2 more single target strikes. Next turn. Zerda suicides. Okay. A trade. So Hiei just took out 2 enemies. Zerda and Ares. Okay, that was just beast mode. Wow, I never thought of that combo, that Dazzling Light would let you move the 2 tiles. Because, yeah, I mean, intellectually I knew Leviathans are aquatic soldiers, but I didn't think that it would work that way. Yes, they do, Ninja. That's why on a lot of maps you want to run Leviathans. It's why I have mine built up. Wow. Cannot be healed effect on Listel right now. Okay, this is interesting. Landius is running Sun Slash instead of what I expected. I would have run Route, right? But he ran Sun Slash instead. What? Was that a mistake or did he do that on purpose? I don't understand. Maybe he ran this for the 1.5 times damage? Expecting to be able to maybe one-shot Reen rather than stun him? I don't know. Well, anyways, that's a unique choice. Yeah, not the skill I would have expected to see on Landius. Sun Slash. Gizarof summons a new construct. Right? Arcane Gale. Heal reversal applied on Sage of the Trees. Yep. New construct summoned. I just don't... Ultimately though, I just don't understand the Sun Slash. Route would have meant you can knock... For example, if you route Reen, if you knock him into poison, he's dead. Rather than trying to one-shot an enemy, I think routes into knock back and stun would have been better. Anyways. So Listel doing damage and healing up via Demon God's Bulwark. Ultimate Construct. Not doing much damage actually. The ultimate construct got 2 range though. And chose to smack Listel. The heal reversal is going to make this very difficult though, at this point. I guess Sage of the Trees is screwed. But you expect to face lots of heal reversal if you're expecting to face off against both Listel and Rain. There's the first life down on Sage of the Trees. Yeah, and the other thing about Sun Slash is it heals you, right? So getting heal reversal like this Landius, it can't use. I really think this Sun Slash was a mistake for Autorun. Oh well. Oh, he got a nice little mobility buff on Landius just now. That would help a lot actually. Wow. Seriously, if this was Route, I think this battle is over. But because it's Sun Slash, I'm a little bit more iffy about this fight. Oh. Sage of the Tree dies, talent activation, removes most of those debuffs. So heal reversal is gone. And Landius now uses Sun Slash to heal up. Still think Route is better. Gift of life, hands down. I think the healing is more important. But you're right, you know, Miracle Staff is runnable. Mass heal. See, if Landius had Route right now, he could knock, let's say, Bozol into poison and stun him, and Bozol's dead. So as I keep saying, why not bring Route? Don't understand. The knockback and stun is so good. Now that was also odd. Right? For example, he could have moved this over here to do the deterrent components for damage on Bozol. Also, I'm surprised he ran Highland Warriors instead of Steelwing Warriors, right? Being full infantry made him very weak to Landius. Anyways, a few oddities on both sides. But yeah, Autorun or KlunKi pulls a victory. Come from behind. What a match. And that was a little bit odd. I would have had the Construct attack first. Right? Get rid of the Crystal Warlocks. Then Landius finish. But anyways, I mean, the battle's over. I mean, literally, this is just being nitpicky now. But there we go. Wow. Honestly, I think Roylee should have won this. The second match, I can't believe he won the second match. That Yusuke kill was ridiculous. Okay, flat out. KlunKi got so lucky on that second match. Okay, but this third match was very interesting to see. So, Autorun, or KlunKi, with a come from behind victory, and now I get another 2.7 million gold from this. No complaints. There we go. That was one hell of a battle. So ultimately, I mean, yeah, I can't believe KlunKi pulled this one off. At least the second match. But at the end of the day, sometimes RNG favors you in these matches. And the third match, you know, KlunKi didn't really make any mistakes. So that was entertaining to watch, that's for sure. That was ridiculous. Just absolutely crazy. Alright, so let's take a look at what's happening in the final match that's ongoing. Ig10 versus Will Underscore. What has happened here? Will Underscore's already lost Juggler. Whereas Ig10 has not lost anyone. Ig10's has a mobility debuff on Landius, so it's not guarding at this time. But Zerda is in play to Bloodthirster and Killing Blow characters. I still don't like all these Bloodthirster plus Killing Blow plus faction buff Zerdas. Yeah. I've mentioned it repeatedly, but Liana just removed the mobility debuff, so Landius is guarding once again. Yeah, I honestly thought Autorun lost in game 2, but winning that one changed things up a lot. Oh, in any case, so Zerda right now has no mobility buff. And Landius was lucky enough to get a health restoration buff. So just by ending turn, he just healed 20%. That's actually going to make a big difference in this fight. Because Will Underscore is acting first, right? If Landius was heavily damaged just now without healing that 20%, he probably could have lost his first life. Since both of Ig10's healers had already acted. Oh well. Bodil can put someone to sleep. And Zerda can activate Bloodthirster. Oh, interesting. He didn't choose to put characters to sleep, he chose to AoE. Why? Actually, I'm looking at this and wondering why. He had the opportunity to put, you know, Landius to sleep, for example, or whatever. Oh, anyways. Rene knockback, and AoE. Most of the characters were immune to the debuffs anyways though, so it didn't have any real effect. Now Sophia will move one tile up and probably mass heal or something. Zerda has 7 movement. So let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I don't know. Okay. Dispel, alright. That works very well too. And then Liana can gospel someone and heal up the party. Yeah, I don't see Igten making any mistakes at this point. It should be Igten's win. It's going to be very difficult for Will underscore to come back from this. Especially with 2 seconds on backup time. So. If I were Igten, you can either AoE or put characters to sleep. Here. Oh, the cannot heal debuff is going to screw up Landius, that's for sure. Because he's not going to heal from the Elven Aura effect at all. Or Sea of Miracles. That removed that. Which means Landius can be killed for the first time. Interesting. I would have had Bozel single target strike and kill Landius. And then rewind. But whatever. Because now Landius gets to heal up a bit. Right? There we go. 57% hit points. Which makes it much, much harder to kill him. Because look at that. He now has 1,000 hit points. Or sorry, 10,000 hit points. Small mistake on Igten's side. Playing too careful, I think. That was the turn to have Bozel attack first, then Sophia rewind. That would have been the moves to make. Oh well. Once again, I'm being nitpicky just now, but I don't think that's going to change the who's going to win this fight. Yeah, see? I was being nitpicky, but as I said, I don't see Igten losing this. And there we go. Yep. So Will underscore concedes. So there we go. Igten wins, which I expected. Desu Life wins, which I also expected. Autorun wins. That, as I said, this one was very much a 50-50. So Autorun winning is a nice thing. And Lucid Crossley beat Gal. If you asked me who I would predict to win this one, I couldn't tell you, frankly. So, but there we go. Maybe I'll do some reviews of the other battles later over the course of this week. But that is it. So, thanks for tuning in, everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed this stream. And I guess I'll see you guys next week, right? I'll do some video reviews of some of these other matches. But for now, that is it. So once again, I hope you all enjoyed the stream. And bye, everyone.